So people, how are you doing? And welcome back to another match reaction. It finished last night. Peterborough United 2, Charlton Athletic 1. A game with absolutely no quality whatsoever. An absolute scrapfest on probably the worst pitch I have ever seen. And despite taking the lead, once again, defensive errors come back to bite us. We're left thinking leaving with nothing is very hard done by and very harsh. So let's get into dissecting the game and talk about what went wrong. So let's start off with the two teams' lineup. Starting off with Charlton, we went with a flat 4-4-2 with Ben Amos as usual in between the sticks. Back four, Gunter, Deji Oshilaja, Jason Pearce returning to the side after serving a match ban, and Maatsen. The middle four was Paul Smyth on the right, Darren Pratley returning to the side after his free match ban, Forster-Caskey and Millar on the left, and the front two was Conor Washington and Omar Bogle, which certainly raised question marks as to why he was starting with the likes of Chuks Aneke and Ronnie Schwartz on the bench. Peterborough lineup, they went with their usual back five with Pim in goal, a back five of Carnu, Frankie Kent, Nathan Thompson, Mark Beavers and Dan Butler. The middle two was Ethan Hamilton and Jack Taylor, and then they had Sariki Dembele and Sammy Smodix in behind Johnson Clark Harris. So they had a very, very strong lineup. Arguably the best front three in the division in Clark Harris, Dembele and Smodix. I knew that we were going to be in for a tough time. Now, in terms of the first half, we have to say we were fairly decent. We were fairly good in the first half, and we did have a couple of decent opportunities. Maatsen had a decent go from quite a few yards out, drove forward and had a blast from about, I don't know, 25 yards out, and it only just missed the crossbar. It was a fairly decent effort, and we've seen Maatsen do that a few times this season when he drives forward a bit, gets to the edge of the area and then just has a go. And then in the 14th minute, it was the Addicts that struck first after Forster-Caskey put in a free kick. Jason Pearce, being manhandled by one of their players, I think it was Ethan Hamilton, grabs his shirt twice. The second time, grabs a fistful of his shirt. Pearce goes down and the ref gives a penalty. Definite penalty, we have to say. Definite penalty. Conor Washington steps up against his former club. Not the greatest penalty in the world. He didn't hit it very well, but nonetheless, it found its way into the bottom left corner for his 7th goal of the season. And the Addicts with a very important goal to put us in front. And if we was to hold on to it, would be a vital 3 points. And after that period, we have to say, not really that many opportunities were in the game. As I said at the start, it wasn't a game of quality. It was an absolute scrap fest. There was just so many slide tackles and just so many players going in for tackles, fouls being committed. But there was a couple of opportunities to talk about in the first half. One in particular being Omar Bogle and Paul Smith's opportunity, where Millar got the ball on the left-hand side, played a ball in with his left foot, which, by the way, was absolutely terrible. I have no idea how Bogle managed to get on the end of it. Millar just hit the ball with such little pace. Anyway, Bogle got the ball, drove into the penalty area, put in a very good low-driven cross, very stinging towards Paul Smyth, and he has a great opportunity to have a go, and he sort of slips over. As for Peterborough's chances in the first half, we have to say they didn't really have many. We didn't have many ourselves, but we were fairly comfortable in getting rid of them. There was a few tame efforts that were shot towards Ben Amos, which he caught fairly easily. And we have to say, we did match Peterborough. We matched them, and you could even make the argument that we were better than them, having found the back of the net. But that was the end of the first half. Charlton 1, Peterborough 0. As I say, a fairly uneventful first half. The conditions of the pitch didn't help at all. I've seen better pitches down the road at Welling. Honestly, it was just so bad. But yeah, a fairly positive first half. Pratley coming back, there was question marks with that because I wasn't too sure whether he was going to go into a back five with Pearce and Oshilaja. Played in the flat four in the middle, and it suited him perfectly. This game was perfect for Pratley, an absolute scrap. He got stuck in, committed quite a lot of fouls. We committed 14 fouls inside the first half. But now we get onto the second half, and this is where things do go quite south. We did have one really good opportunity, which, looking back on it, we really should have scored. And you could really say, if we had scored that, it would have been a completely different game. It was a free kick on the left-hand side of the pitch from about 25-30 yards out. Forster-Caskey swings it in on the left foot. It's headed back in by someone. Comes to Gunter, who is completely unmarked, nearly at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he goes for a header and he completely skies it over the bar. Regardless of what position you play, you've got to do better. Literally an open opportunity to make it 2-0. completely unmarked, and you've just blazed it over the bar. He could even have taken his time and taken it on the volley if he wanted to. Drill it above the player into the roof of the net, and that would have been 2-0. Not long after that, I think it was a goal kick, by Pim. Lobs it forward. I don't know what it was. It was either a goal kick or it was a clearance. Lobbed forward. Pearce and Oshilaja both standing within a yard of each other. You would think after the Accrington-Stanley game, they would learn. Well, I guess not, as Pearce and Oshilaja, both of them, let the ball bounce. They let the ball bounce, and then a complete miscommunication. They both go for the same ball, both completely miss it, and then Sammy Szmodics bears down on goal, completely unmarked, and puts it past Ben Amos with absolute ease for 1-0. When will we learn? When will we learn? These defensive errors are just unacceptable. And it's Pearce again. It's Pearce again. I know it was Pearce and Oshilaja, but we've seen Pearce do this so many times now. And it's getting a bit embarrassing now. Like I said, you'd think he'd learn after the Accrington-Stanley game. It's pretty much the same error. The ball, long ball, he lets the ball bounce, plays a horrific header, puts Colby Bishop through, lobs the keeper, bang, goal. It's pretty much the same error. You've let the ball bounce again, then you've gone for the same ball as Oshilaja, and have then just let Szmodics bear down on goal. He's gone for the same ball as Oshilaja and both made an absolute ash of it. You don't let the ball bounce when you're defending. It's basic stuff. You don't do it. And not only did we let them back in the game, we let them take the lead with another defensive error. Gunter and Paul Smyth on the right-hand side. I don't know how either of them didn't get hold of the ball. I think Smyth did put in a tackle, but it sort of come back off the Peterborough player. He's then come forward. I think it was Siriki Dembele, actually. Dembele comes forward on the right side, tries to play a pass towards one of their other players. Andrew Shinnie, of course, came on for Jake Forster-Caskey and is finally back from injury. Thank God we've got him back. He's a player that we've needed quite badly in the middle of the park. Such a good player. But, yeah, he did make an absolute hash of it. He got hold of the ball and Shinnie stacks it. Shinnie completely stacks it, ends up sending the ball forward to Johnson Clark-Harris, who's basically put one-on-one with Deji Oshilaja. Clark-Harris puts through Szmodics once again, and he again puts it past Ben Amos, and that is 2-1. Two defensive errors that have completely cost us, and it's annoying. It's annoying because you'd think we'd learn. You'd think we'd learn after countless amount of games, not just this season, but last season, where defensive errors have also cost us. But the same player twice in similar circumstances, being put through one-on-one. And to be totally honest with you, if it wasn't for Ben Amos, it probably would have been worse, as Szmodics was once again put through basically one-on-one. He again was going for the exact same corner, and Amos thankfully stuck a leg out and put a save in. So well done to Amos for keeping us in the game. And to be honest with you, we did have another opportunity through Chuks Aneke. Tried to cross it into the box. I don't know if it was either a cross or a shot. Pim managed to keep hold of it. I don't know. I think it was intended as a shot, but it would have been a decent ball for Schwartz to latch on the end of it. But yeah, that is how the game ended. Peterborough 2, Charlton 1. We make defensive errors and they punish us. And Peterborough are the type of side that will punish those mistakes. And that's exactly what they did. It's been happening for far too long. For far too long, we've made too many defensive errors. And today it's cost us from at least coming away with something, which is what I felt we deserved. I felt the way the game went, with it being not a quality game of football, I don't think either team played that well. Ultimately, we can take the lead through a penalty and we can match Peterborough for 65 minutes all we want. When we gift goals to sides like that, it's simply not good enough, and it is another missed opportunity to at least close the gap on our rivals. And if you look at the league table and how close it is, that everyone around us has about 2 or 3. Accrington even have 4 games in hand on us, and they're 3 points behind us. We do have to raise question marks to our defensive line. And to be honest with you, I'm talking about Jason Pearce, because I think his days are done now. I've said it on Instagram, I've said it on Twitter, and not even that, I've said it for a long time. I said it last season. Pearce has been prone to those mistakes. He didn't look like a championship player at all last year, and even this year, it looks like he's struggling to cope with League One. To be honest with you, it weren't even this season and last season, it was years before that. I've seen, like, when Bowyer first took charge of the club, Pearce has been prone to those mistakes. Now it's getting to the point where it's costing us and he's becoming a defensive liability. Since Pearce has come back into the team, since his injury, we've conceded 17 goals. When he served his match ban, we kept a clean sheet. Speaks for itself, doesn't it? I don't think he should play past the rest of the season, but to be honest with you, Bowyer ain't really got much of a choice because we don't have any other centre-backs available with Famaro and Innes injured. To be perfectly honest, I would much rather have Charlie Barker or Jay Mingy in that position. Because both of those two will give 110% because they're youngsters that want to break into the first team and want to prove a point to Bowyer. May I also add that both of them have scored goals this season. But we ain't going to see that happen, are we? We're not going to see Barker or Mingy come into the side. We're going to stick with Pearce. And I ain't looking forward to it. I ain't going to have any sort of confidence with him in the defensive line when he's constantly making mistakes. Like I just said, 17 goals conceded since he's back in the team. When he was out of it, we kept a clean sheet. Didn't concede a goal. These next two games against Swindon and MK Dons are must-win games. We have to win both of them. It's as simple as that. But we really need to sort out our defensive line. And it seems now that Bowyer does understand that we need improving in that position based off his quotes in the South London press yesterday where he said centre-half is definitely a position that we need to improve. He did also say that we should have signed a player before that game, and he says that we hopefully will bring in a player before the weekend. And obviously, as we all know, there have been 3 players that we've been linked with over the weeks. It has been confirmed, though, that one of them being Exeter midfielder Joe Randall. We've had 2 bids rejected for him. Apparently, one of them was for about 300 grand. And Exeter won about £1 million for him. Now, don't get me wrong, Randall is a good player and I do rate him. He's 21 years old, 8 goals in about 15-odd League 2 appearances. He's very, very good and he is hotly tipped to be the next big thing to come out of Exeter. You know, the likes of Ollie Watkins and Ethan Ampadu. I do think £1 million is a bit steep, though, for a player that's not really played that much football. But I do rate him as a player and I think he would have been a really good signing. But it does look like that we're not going to get him in. Now, the other 2 are Bournemouth's Nemandi Ofrabor and Paderborn's Anthony Evans. Now, Ofrabor, I think, would be an unbelievable signing. 21 years old, doesn't affect the wage cap, not getting games at Bournemouth, got promoted from this league last season with Wickham. Defensive midfielder, 5'8", not very tall, but he's young, energetic, strong. He's a good young player, and I think he would be a very good long-term replacement for Watson and Pratley. And to get him on a permanent basis is an unbelievable signing, and it stamps our intent to get promoted, and I think he really would help us do that. As for Anthony Evans, I'll be honest, I'm not keen. I'm not keen on him. Obviously, Everton Academy graduate, went over to Germany to get regular football with Paderborn, and he struggled. He's played like 7 games in about 2 seasons there, and his record is not very good. He's an attacking midfielder, but can also play on the wing. I hope that the player we do sign is Ofrabor, because I think he will really, really change our team around, and he will be a big signing in the middle of that park, as I say, on a permanent basis as well. Evans will be on a permanent as well, from what I've heard from Paderborn, but I'm not keen. I'm not keen on him. I'd much prefer Randall. But anyway, a disappointing result, hard to take. I felt we deserved at least a point. We matched Peterborough for the 65 minutes, kept them quiet, bullied them in the middle of the park. Yes, conceded a lot of fouls, but it was a good game for us. It was the perfect game with the lineup that we had. Scored a penalty, rightly so a penalty. And then defensive errors have cost us and have gave Peterborough a major advantage against us. They go 3 points clear of 2 games in hand. A massive kick in the teeth for us, but we just need to keep going. We need to keep going, need to get more players in, need to liven up a bit, need to wake up. And as I say, against Swindon and MK Dons, 6 points are needed. And we can't really be accepting any less. Thanks for watching this match reaction, guys. I'd appreciate it if you left a like, if you subscribed, and if you turned on the post notifications so you're notified of when I post. What do you guys think about the game? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about our transfer targets? Nemandi Ofrabor, Joel Randell, and Anthony Evans. Let me know in the comments below. This has been Tyler Ronaldson. Have a nice day, and I will see you all for the game against Swindon Town, which will be a live reaction. Take it easy, stay safe, and I'll see you all later.